We're gonna start on the ground, sitting however you feel is most comfortable. Let me get this light on here. Just gives us a little more light. However you feel most comfortable, crisscross applesauce. You can have your feet just sitting in front of you, whatever feels right. And we are going to start by having look here. So we're gonna start just going up and down, nice and slow. Give it a little bit of range of motion. If your neck is really tight, don't push it too far. We just want to get some mobility into it. We're not trying to get a really deep stretch. Good, now we're gonna go left and right. So we're just gonna turn our head to the left and to the right. Try not to use your shoulders. Try to keep your body as stable as possible, just moving that neck. Push it a little bit here. Try to twist as much as you can, wherever you feel comfortable. Good, now we're gonna go ear to shoulder. And same thing here, I want you to keep your shoulders planted down. And I want you to drop your neck to your shoulder or your ear to your shoulder. Get as close as you can within comfort. Don't stretch it too far. We're just trying to get a nice, easy stretch here. Go back and forth. Hold it for a few seconds. One side might be tighter than the other. If so, you can do a little extra. Make it comfortable for yourself. Don't go too far. Let's do a couple more. Keep those shoulders down the whole time. All right, now we're gonna go all the way around. So we should tuck your neck, and then go ear to shoulder, all the way back, ear to shoulder again, and then tuck the neck. So we're gonna go all the way around. Do 5 times in each direction. Same thing here, please try to keep your shoulders down. That'll allow us to get all up into the neck. All right, switch sides. Good. Now this is the same kind of format as last Monday. We will be doing mobility and core. The way it'll work is this whole kind of warm up I'm about to give you is going to be kind of part mobility, kind of part active warm up, like we sometimes do at TAC in the actual performance center. So if you guys are doing, say, Kate's leg workout tomorrow, make sure that you can tailor this to your own kind of wants and needs. So tomorrow morning when you wake up before Kate's class, if you want to do, just the leg mobility and not as much of the upper body mobility, that's kind of what this is all kind of laid out for you. So you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do throughout this warm up here. We're going to start on our knees. We're going to drop our butt to our heels. We're going to reach our arms out in front, and then we're going to walk our hands to one side. You're going to feel a stretch down your lat here. And I want you to try to get that side of the body as close to the ground as possible. You should feel a nice deep stretch into your lat. You can actually hold your wrist with your other hand and pull back, and you should feel a deeper stretch. Now we're going to switch sides. We don't want to hold these stretches for too long. We actually want to kind of do more of active stretching rather than isolated stretching. So we don't want to hold any static stretches. We don't want to hold for too long, but we do want to get a chance to get the body into a small stretch for a short period of time. It's all about mobility here. It's not about getting a very, very deep stretch, going through ranges of motion. do a couple more here. Same thing as always, you might find one side's tighter than the other. Maybe spend a few extra reps on that side. Our lats tend to be really tight as humans, just kind of the way we work. The lats span pretty much the whole length of the back. And we get a lot of that tightness usually comes from our lats. A lot of back pain can be traced back to the lats. All right. Now we are going to lay on our side. I'm going to try to see which way is best for you guys to see this. We're going to lay on our side like so. You can bend your knees. You can have your legs straight. I think it's more comfortable to bend our knees. And then we're going to do some open, not open books, but side opening thoracic stretch. Open up here. Try to keep those knees on the ground and keep those hips where they're at. Try not to open up completely because then you're just laying on your back. So let's do 5 per side here. Open up as much as you can and then close back up. And try not to move the hips too much. We're just trying to get the shoulders all the way back to the ground within comfort without moving our hips. Do 2 more here. Good, and then switch sides. Same thing, make sure those knees are stuck to the ground, hips don't twist too much, and open up that back, or open up that chest. You should feel a nice twist in your spine. If there's any sort of pain, and this kind of goes for all exercises, then make sure you ease that back. And if there's pain throughout all of the range of motion, then let's stop completely. But maybe some of these stretches we might go a little too far and get too much of a stretch to where it's in kind of a bad spot, and make sure you dial it back and bring it back into a reasonable, comfortable position. All right, next one, we're gonna go into a bit of a forearm stretch here. So I'm gonna have you take your arms or your fingers and face back towards your knees. And some of us have really tight wrists, so get as much as you can with those fingers pointed towards your knees. And then we're gonna slightly sit back and feel that stretch into the forearms, and then we're gonna come back up to the top. Some of these go sideways, see if that gets a better idea for you. Fingers pointed back towards your knees. We're gonna sit back a little bit, feel that stretch, and then come back up. Just go about 5 to 10 here, whatever feels right. Same thing here, we don't want to get into pain, we just want to get into a slight stretch. So some of you might have really active forearms and you can go really far back. Some of you guys might have really tight forearms. Just go to your stretch ability, do not go too far. Do not want that deep pain here. All right, now we're gonna kind of do the opposite, and I wanna have your fingers still pacing you, but you're gonna have your hands, I guess, down here, and you're gonna kind of be laying on your palms or resting on your palms, and same thing. Small lay back stretch, back to the top. Small lay back stretch, get a little closer so our palms are here. We're gonna put them down, and then onto the ground, and lay back. Let's do a couple more here. Good. We're gonna go into bird dogs now, and you have 2 options. You can go tall plank. We do our bird dogs, or sorry, not tall plank. You could do bird dogs with your knees on the ground or with your knees off the ground. Completely up to you. It'll be a little tougher with your knees off the ground. Remember, this is still just a mobility warm-up, still just a warm-up, so you don't need to push yourself as hard as you can. If knees on the ground is perfect for you, that is perfect for me. All right, shoulders should be over your wrist the whole time, so we don't want to reach out over, and we don't want to fall back when we do our crunch. Make sure that shoulder stays over that wrist the whole time. We're gonna go 10 per side here. You can switch every time if you feel like. or not. That's up to you. Just make sure you're reaching all the way out and crunching in the middle. Get both sides. Shoulder over wrist the whole time. Try not to fall back when you come into your crunch. Couple more. All right, we're gonna go down kind of more into the lower body here. We're gonna do our lunge to lay back. One of my favorites. So I'll show you from this angle first. So you're almost in a lunge position, but you kind of just got one knee down, one knee up. And we're gonna sit forward and feel that hip flexor stretch in the leg that is planted into the ground, or the knee that's in the ground. And then we're gonna lay back that foot into a hamstring stretch. Now you might want to play around with foot position here, maybe a little bit forward is better for you, a little farther back, depending on your mobility. We want to reach forward, feel that hip flexor stretch, and then sit back and feel the stretch into the posterior part of that leg. So sit forward, reach back. Sit forward, reach back. Let's do a couple more here. I'm gonna go about 10 per side. Switch legs, same thing. Find that great foot position for you. One leg might be tighter, might be different. Reach forward, feel that hip flexor stretch. Sit back. You should feel that nice stretch into your hamstring, maybe a little bit into your calf. Make sure you're feeling that hip flexor when you push those hips forward. We are not just dropping our back and arching. We are coming forward with our hips into that hip flexor stretch. Let's do a couple more here. All right, so we're gonna go into a deep squat. So you should have your feet probably a little bit farther than shoulder width and slightly pointed toes. Don't go all the way out. We're not a ballerina, and we don't want them facing completely forward. Slightly out into our deep squat. And then from here, we're gonna drop our knee. Now, same thing as always, if you aren't comfortable, once you start going down, don't go so far. So I want you to try and drop each knee to the ground. But if you are not comfortable, or if your body is yelling at you and saying no, then I want you to listen to it. You shouldn't feel any pain here. You might feel a little bit of stretching, but you shouldn't feel any pain. Do a couple more. All right, we're gonna stand up, go a little wider with the feet, and now we're gonna do our Cossack squat. So we're gonna basically lunge into one side, and I want your heel to touch the ground the whole time. So whatever side we're squatting into, your heel should be touching the ground, and then we're gonna go over to the other side. If you only can go down to about here, that is as far as you can go. Make that your limit. Keep that heel on the ground the whole time. If you want an extra challenge, you can stay low as you switch sides. Gets a little blood flowing there. A little more difficult. Keep switching back and forth. You can always come up to the top, shake it out a bit, and come back down. Let's do a few more here. All right, so we're gonna go into our active section here. First one, we got forward lunges, Frankenstein kicks, shoulder taps, and supine push-ups. So forward lunges, We're stepping forward. Make sure that knee does not go over your toes or past your toes. That's when we start getting into some knee pain. Keep that knee over your foot, even almost back towards your heel a little bit, and then come back up. So we do not want our knee to drop forward over our toes. That can create a lot of pain. Next one is Frankenstein kicks. You're gonna stand in place, kick your leg up. I want that heel to stay on the ground of the opposite leg that's not kicking. That one shouldn't move. If this is as high as you can go, it's as high as you can go. We're not all the Rockettes. We can't all go to the sky here. Next one is gonna be shoulder taps. This one's tall plank or quadruped. So you can do shoulder taps from here, be a little extra of a challenge. Quadruped position, knees off the ground, shoulder taps there. Then we got supine push-ups or elbow rows. I did this one last week on Thursday, but essentially you're gonna have your elbows planted into the ground. Think about if you're doing a push-up on the roof. Do not use your hips or your feet, and we are going to press our elbows into the ground and lift our back up off the ground. So relax, squeeze those elbows into the ground, squeeze that back, and relax, okay? I will be talking them through a little bit more, so let's get started with forward lunges in 3, 2, 1, go for 30 seconds forward lunges, alternate each time. Make sure you're not letting that knee go past your toe, explode up off the ground, back to full stand. Good, 10 more seconds. Good, straight into Frankenstein kicks. Plant that heel on the ground, kick that leg as high as you can, within comfort. Make sure you're switching every time. Feel a nice stretch in the hamstring. Doing quick stretches here, no long stretches. That's why we're all about mobility. It's all dynamic today. And 3, 2, 1, going into shoulder taps, either tall plank or quadruped position. Quadruped's a little bit harder, but you guys can all do it. Make sure you're keeping that body as stable as possible the whole time. Focusing on controlling your body. Try to go nice and slow to force your body to really contract your core and control yourself. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. We're into our elbow rows. So on your back, press those elbows into the ground, squeeze that chest or squeeze that back. Your chest should come up off the ground and be stretched at the top. Try not to use your heels. Try not to use your hips. Just use your elbows to squeeze your back. 10 more seconds. Squeeze, 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 and relax. Squeeze, 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 and relax. One more. Squeeze, and relax. Good. Next section, we got mountain climbers. So we're here, make sure our shoulders are staying over our wrists. Try not to fall back into this motion. Keep your shoulders over your wrists. Toe taps from tall plank. So we're gonna be in that tall plank position. We're gonna reach back towards our toes. We're gonna spread our feet out a little bit farther here and give you a little diagonal view. We're reaching back towards that toe, back in the tall plank. Reach back towards that toe, switch sides every time. Then we got dead bugs on our back. Feet and arms up, opposite arm, opposite leg. Make sure that core stays planted into the ground. And then last one, inchworms. We're standing up, walking our hands out to the bottom, push up optional, then walk your hands back in. All right, get ready. 3, 2, 1. Starting with mountain climbers, shoulders over your wrists. Try to drive those knees into your chest. No need for rocking here. Try not to fall back into this motion. Keep your shoulders over your wrists. Almost there, 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. Spread those feet out. We're going tall plank, toe touch, reach back to each toe. If you can't go all the way back and touch them, that's fine. Just get close as you can. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Almost there. 3, 2, dead bugs on your back. Feet and legs up. Opposite arm, opposite leg drops to the ground. Come back up to the top. Opposite arm, opposite leg, back to the ground. Make sure our core stays planted. If it does not, that's where we can get some pain in our lower back. So make sure that your lower back is planted to the ground. Your core is super tight each time you go down. Almost there, 5 seconds. And inchworm, hop on up. Walk those hands out. Push up is optional at the bottom, and then hands back into your feet. You can stand all the way up, or you can just start going right back out. Up to you. Push up optional, feet to hands, and back. One more. Walk those hands out. Push up optional, hands into feet, and relax. All right, so we're gonna get into our core section here. That was kind of the whole mobility and active warm-up. We're gonna go through, the first one is 20 seconds of 3 exercises, so a minute. We're gonna go through it twice. Now, everything I'm giving you here for core is kind of something that you could do at home, something that you can adapt to yourself, probably maybe a little bit of it every day, or maybe the full workout every day. That's up to you. But I think your core can handle it once you get used to it pretty much every day. So first one is going to be hollow hold crunches or boat crunches. So some people call this a boat hold instead of a hollow hold, but the crunch is basically coming up to the top and back down, or to the top and back down. Next one is going to be plank push-up. So you're going to be in your tall plank, and we're going to drop down into low plank, back to tall plank. Switch which arm you start with each time. Try to drop a different arm to the ground first. Last one is side plank dips. We're going to go the first round on one side and the second round on the other side. So remember which side you start with. All right, get ready. Starting with hollow hold crunches in 3, 2, 1, go for it. Starting your hollow hold, come up into a crunch, hollow hold, crunch. Try not to go all the way down to the ground. Try to keep that hollow hold the whole time. Try not to relax all the way down. 5 seconds. Cut and flip over. Plank push up. Be in your low plank or your tall plank and switch. Switch which arm you start with each time. 10 seconds. Good. And last exercise, side plank dips. Switch or pick one side to start with. Dip down to the ground. Squeeze back up. 3, 2, 1. All right, relax. We're going to switch back to the beginning here. So starting with hollow hold crunches, then plank push-ups, and then side plank dips. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go for it. Hollow hold crunches. Try not to relax all the way down. Starting your hollow hold, come up to the top. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Plank push-up. Super quick. Get into that tall plank or low plank and switch. Now remember what side you started your side plank dips on. We're doing the other side now. And switch. Other side plank dip. Drop the hip. Squeeze that core up to the top. You should feel a squeeze in your obliques at the top of this exercise. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, relax. All right, now that our core is kind of warmed up, heart rate's up there, or at least mine is, we're gonna go into this section that I believe is something definitely kind of add to your everyday. And you could switch how many rounds you do depending on if you're sore or if you just don't have time. So what we're gonna do is it's gonna be 5 exercises, and they're all gonna be of 10 reps. I'm actually gonna copy and paste this into the chat just in case any of you are on your computer, but it's gonna be starting with toe touches. So toe touches on your back, reaching for your toes, squeezing that core all the way up. Next one is going to be hollow oblique twists. So what that means is we're basically in like a tall hollow hold. So we're not in the hollow hold down here. We're almost in a taller hollow hold. We're gonna have our feet out and we're gonna try to twist down to each direction. So think about like a Russian twist, but in a hollow hold. We don't need weight here as long as we're squeezing down to either side. We then got Supermans on our stomach, arms and legs out, squeeze up only a little bit. We don't need to go as high as possible. We can get a good squeeze, even just coming a little bit off the ground. Next is V-up twists on your back, 5 per side here. Both arms out, legs out. Switch which arm you go to each time, or which arm and leg you use. Last one, leg raises on your back. Try not to put your hands beneath your butt. We're gonna try to keep that lower back planted to the ground and do some leg raises here, or leg lifts as you can call them. Point your toes out all the way up to the top. So we're gonna do 10 of each, and because of time that we have today, we're actually only gonna do about 3 rounds, but feel free to do 5 to 10 or even more if that's something you can do, or just 1 in the morning to get the blood flow. It all really works. So let's start with toe touches. Let's go through 3 rounds here. 10 of each. Toe touches. Try to relax all the way out for your toe touches. Kind of relax back to the ground each time. Try not to use your neck to drive that force up. That's how we get injured. Now we're going to go in for hollow oblique twists. Legs up in our kind of hollow hold position. Rotate down to either side. If you're focusing on your obliques, you shall feel them 100%. It's definitely a great exercise to use. Forces stability, and we're also getting some contraction each time. Good. Flip on over. Superman's next. 10 total here. So we can go both arms and both legs, or if you would like to go opposite arm, opposite leg, and do 5 of each, that's perfectly okay as well. Just focus on squeezing those glutes, squeezing that lower back, activating that core each time. Couple more. Good. V-up twist next. 10 of them. 5 per side on your back. Twist up to one and the other. Now I want you to use your arm as little as possible, but as much as you can for stability here. So don't use your planted arm to help you up by pressing up, but focus on having it be your stability to allow your core to just activate and bring you up to the top. And the other arm can kind of direct you there. All right, last one, leg raises. Focus on not letting that lower back come off the ground. If you do feel that lower back coming off the ground, you feel some pain, I want your legs up, and you're gonna do small hip lifts here. Otherwise, you're doing your leg raises. Pointed toes, keeping that core super tight the whole time, not letting that lower back come off the ground. You can even just go small, kind of range of motion at the top here, and you're still getting your leg raise, and you're still getting good contraction in your core, but you're not sacrificing that lower back so much. All right, let's go back to the top, into the toe touches. We're gonna go straight into it. 10 toe touches. And make sure, coming all the way down each time to relax that core, and then squeeze up to the top as you're breathing out. Get a good contraction. It's kind of hard to do proper breathing while talking, but make sure you're breathing out on the way up and in on the way down. One thing I've realized from doing these classes is that it's just hard to talk while you exercise if you're doing it right. All right, hollow oblique twists. Squeeze that core. You should feel the burn each time you squeeze to one side. I want you to try to go as far as you can without rotating your whole body around. Just go as far as you can with those hands. All right, Supermans on your stomach. 10 total or 5 opposite arm, opposite leg. That's up to you. Opposite arm, opposite leg gets a little bit different in there. Not much different than the regular exercise though. It's kind of up to you depending on what you want to do. All right, V-up twists on your back, V-up twists, 5 to either side. Try to squeeze that core as much as you can at the top. Try to create as much power as possible straight off the ground without using your neck or your arms. Try to use all of your core. Breathe out as you powerfully come to the top. All right, leg raises. Now, if your core's getting tired and your back starts to feel a little bit of a twang, as you do these leg raises, go into those hip lifts. Otherwise, you're doing your leg lifts. All right, we're gonna go one more time through toe touches, hollow twists, Supermans, V-up twists, leg raises. So we're only going through 3 times. You can probably feel it already by now. So if you wake up every day and start doing 1 or 2 rounds at a time, you'll eventually get yourself up to doing about 5 to 10 rounds, especially if you have the time. But if you only have about 2 minutes, it's a great way to just go through a couple rounds of this, and you're getting kind of all ranges of motion or all areas of your core here. We're getting our upper, middle, lower side, oblique, twist across, everything we can pretty much get here. And most importantly, we're getting those Supermans that help us strengthen our back, because there is core in your back. You can have a 6-pack back there if you do enough Supermans. All right, Supermans onto our belly. All right, V-up twists. Leg raises last. If your core's really tired, go to the hip lifts. If you have a weak low back, have any back injuries, hip lifts are much safer for you to do instead of those leg raises. You want to stay away from pain at all costs. All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds to finish up. Some of you might be either behind or ahead of me, because I was talking and losing count every single time. So we're going to finish off last 2 minutes with 30 seconds of bicycles, 30 seconds of either leg lifts or hip lifts, kind of that last exercise we did there, and then a minute of hollow hold. Now, when I say minute of hollow hold, if we're in that hollow hold and we're here and you cannot hold it any longer and you drop to the ground, that's fine. Get a little rest in there and then try to join back up. Don't feel the need to go all the way 1 minute, all the way time through. You can rest and come back to it. Nothing wrong with that. It almost gives your core a little bit more blood to go a little further. All right, so we're gonna go 30 seconds bicycles, 30 seconds leg lifts or hip lifts, and then 1 minute of hollow hold. And get ready. We're going in 3, 2, 1, starting with bicycles. Try to crunch up either side. If you're feeling any back pain when you do this, or if your lower back's coming off the ground, just put your feet a little higher. It's a little strange, but it's going to accomplish pretty much the same thing as long as you get those shoulders off the ground and you're not going to feel as much pain in the lower back. 10 more seconds. Come on, keep going. Okay, leg lifts or hip lifts. Try not to put your hands under your butt, but if you need to stabilize your lower back, you can. Leg lifts, 30 seconds. If your back starts to hurt, hip lifts. Great exercise. Accomplishes similar goals. 10 seconds. All right, we're headed into the finale here with the hollow hold. 3, 2, 1, go into your hollow hold. Hollow holds do not have to be in a V position. As long as your shoulders are coming off the ground and your legs are off the ground and you're contracting your core as much as possible, that is your hollow hold. You do not have to go super high up each time. I can argue that you can get as much contraction and core exercise down here as you can when you're really up at the top. As long as you're actively squeezing, it can be as hard as you want it to be. 30 seconds. Keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. If you need to take a rest real quick. Still got plenty of time, 20 seconds. Come on. Try to get those shoulders off the ground. Try to bring your hips into your chest. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Almost there. 10 seconds. Come on, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, relax. All right, that's it.